bit more light today, which is nice. Hello, welcome everyone. So I'm just going to read out a little script thingy at the start, and then I'm going to tell the story as like a voiceover because I don't particularly love looking at myself or hearing myself. And I'm just a bit of a pansy, so I'm going to do this little bit here. Then at the end of the story, I'll check back in and just do the last bit on here as well. But thank you for anyone who's taken the time to listen, and I will be back shortly. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this episode contains discussions of family violence, emotional abuse, and a hostage situation. Some parts may be distressing. Please take care while listening, and if you need support, I've linked services in the episode notes. This is my personal story told from my perspective. I won't be naming anyone involved. What I share is based on my lived experience, and it is not legal advice. We fell in love instantly. It was hard, it was fast, and it felt like everything I'd been waiting for. Within 4 months, we were living together, and within 7 months, I was pregnant. To some people, maybe the warning signs were clear right from the beginning. But for me, coming out of a 5-year emotionally abusive relationship, I didn't recognise what a physically abusive one looked like. I thought this was my chance at real love. The next 5 years were marked by fear and chaos. Reckless damage to our homes, endless patch-ups. In the rental we lived in for 4 years, I carried the burden alone, scrubbing, cleaning, trying to cover holes in the walls, and still losing our bond. I paid for cleaners, I did everything I could, but the damage was too much. The little money we did get back, I had to split with him anyway. I was always moving the goalposts in my mind, making bargains with myself just to cope. I told myself, I'll only stay if he starts contributing financially, if the financial abuse stops. Then it became, I'll only commit to building a house if he promises to change by this date. Then I'll make it work for our daughter's sake. Then finally, we've built a house, I've poured my inheritance into it, I've even used my money to pay off his debts. I can't just walk away now. Every time the bar shifted, and every time I lost a little more of myself. By December last year, everything came to a head. It started with a message on social media. A girl reached out to me. She told me something I didn't know. Then she told him she'd told me. And just like that, things unraveled before I even had the chance to breathe, let alone talk it through. I fled our home with my daughter. We hid out at a friend's place. I thought getting a protection order would help. I even tried to keep it balanced, allowing him to still live with us, because deep down I didn't want more conflict, I just wanted peace. But 3 days later, it all culminated in the most terrifying night of my life. I came home and he wouldn't let us leave. The first thing he did was take my phone, my keys, and even the key from the front door. He pocketed them, closed the blinds, and locked us in. In that moment, I felt the air shift, and I knew we were trapped. From that night until the next morning, my daughter and I were held in our own home. I was grabbed, I was threatened, a hole was kicked in the wall. At one point, he threatened me with a knife, and I was certain in that moment this would be the day we were going to die. What haunts me most isn't just what he did to me, but what he did to our daughter, what he saw. She clung to me, shaking so violently I thought she might collapse, looking up at me with wide eyes, begging me without words to make it stop. I smiled at her and whispered to just look at me and pretend it was just the two of us. It was the only way I could protect her in that moment. She would doze off, then wake up screaming, terrified of what she'd see when she opened her eyes again. And even though I was exhausted and terrified myself, I was prepared to fight to the death if I had to. I refused to give in to him. Even when I felt weak inside, I forced myself to be strong in front of her because I wanted her to see a mother who would never let anyone break us. This was also specifically mentioned amongst the charges in the sentencing, including with the knife. The following day it didn't end. What happened at our home spilled into my daughter's childcare. The staff had no choice but to lock the centre down. Imagine that, a place that should be safe, a place for play and learning, suddenly locked tight against danger. While she was inside those walls, he was on the run in my car. Hours went by before he was caught. The fear was suffocating. Later, I was told that when she arrived, she ran to her educator and said, "Daddy hurt Mummy," and kicked a hole in the wall. She was just a little girl, but she had learned to speak up, to tell the truth. I was so proud of her courage, but heartbroken she had ever needed it. Eventually, the court stepped in. Orders were made. Sentences were handed down. On paper, the system had done its job. But for me and my daughter, the impact didn't end with this sentence. The scars don't just fade because someone's case is over. In the days and months after, the consequences rippled through every part of our lives. We lost our home and had to stay in a homeless shelter. I applied for more than 50 rentals before finally finding somewhere to live. I sacrificed food for myself just to keep the lights on and my daughter fed. I had to change jobs, take a pay cut, and burn through all my family violence leave just to juggle inspections, court dates, and support services. There were times I was so desperate I thought about ending my life, just so my daughter could access my superannuation to survive. That is how broken the system left me. And even now, despite the orders, despite the sentencing, I don't feel safe. My daughter doesn't feel safe. The fear lingers, the nightmares continue, and every shadow, every sound outside still makes us flinch. This is why I'm telling my story. Because family violence isn't always obvious. It's not always the black eye or the police car at the front. It's the slow erosion of safety. It's the endless moving of goalposts. It's the inheritance money that disappears. It's the homes you lose. It's the nights you think you won't survive. And it's the children who carry the weight of things they never should have seen. For me, this podcast is about the truth. It's about giving voice to survivors, shining light on what we live through, and exposing the cracks in the system that still haven't been fixed. My story isn't unique, and that's the problem. Thank you for listening to the very first episode for any who made it through this far. I'm thinking in the next episode I'm probably going to go into the more court side of it, maybe taking you inside the courtroom, not literally, but just explaining my experience with that, what it was like to give a victim impact statement, watching sentencing unfold, and to realise even with, the sentencing and the order and stuff in place, safety still isn't guaranteed. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and please join me on this journey. I'm trying to still get everything up and running, but I feel like there's a lot out there who do want to hear this, and I'm also absolutely open to speaking with anybody who might want to share their story. Any experts or professionals, just anything. I don't want to do this alone. Like, I really don't need to, and that's fine. But the idea is to make this a safe platform where you guys get a raw look at me, and I'm here for you. And anybody who wants to tell their story, you can be anonymous, like however you want to do it. I'm just here, even if you just want to shoot me a message or whatever. I really feel like even if this doesn't in the long term have major changes or anything, I'm not expecting like a miracle in the justice system or anything. It's more just about not feeling alone, and I feel like women are warriors and we need to support each other more and have each other's backs, and at the end of the day, we deserve better a lot of the time. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty done with being seen as, someone who can't stand up for themselves, and just like a woman. And it's not even always just like that. It could be about guys as well. Obviously, there's abuse both ways. There's also false accusations both ways. Like, there's a lot that can be unpacked. But my primary focus for this component anyway is just to be your voice. If you aren't comfortable to share it, if you are comfortable to share it, please reach out to me. I've obviously got a lot of knowledge and experience with all the different stages of this legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give legal advice, but I'm just here to support and answer the questions as best I can, just if anyone needs guidance or support. So yeah, hopefully this helps someone. Like I said, please share with, even if it's just like with a small group, doesn't have to be like a public share or anything like that. If you're not comfortable doing that, if it's just like, with a couple of friends or whatever, let's just get the word out that there is a safe space that exists for people to talk about this. And even just that in itself, I feel like I've accomplished something. All right, I will talk to you all next time. Thank you for listening.